Hi children, greetings to you all. This is your social science teacher Vincent, and I believe you are all doing fine at home following safety measures, and it's my happy privilege to speak to you through this online class. To begin with, let's move on to the title of our lesson 1 in history. And the title of our lesson is What is History? So in this lesson, we are going to study about 5 important things. The first one is what history is all about. The second one is timeline in history. And the third one is sources of history. And the fourth one is prehistoric period. And finally, life of Emperor Ashoka. These are the 5 important things we are going to study about in this lesson. Let's move on to the first topic, what history is all about. Our lesson starts with a conversation between a mother and her daughter. The name of her daughter is Tamilini. So one day, Tamilini comes back home from school and the mother asks about the subject she studied at school on that day. And Tamilini answered her saying that she studied history in class and she wanted to know more informations about history. And the mother starts explaining about history by saying, look, Tamilini, you might have seen an old wooden pen on your father's table. And even though we cannot able to write with that pen now, your father is preserving that pen as a treasure. You know the reason for that? Because it was a gift given by your great grandfather Ramasamy to your father. And in remembrance of your great grandfather, he is preserving it carefully. And also, even though we cannot able to write with that pen now, that old pen gives informations about your great grandfather that he was an educated man. And also, he left behind a diary which gives more informations about the people lived in his days. So, by the help of materials of the past, we get informations about the lifestyle of people lived in the past. So, what is history? History is the study of past events in chronological order. Chronological order means events that happened year after year sequence, that is regular order. The word history comes from the Greek word historia, meaning learning by inquiry. So, the informations about history are collected through inquiring the materials or events in the past. Let's move on to the next topic, timeline in history. So, time in history is divided into two groups. One is BC, other one is AD. One is before Christ, other one is after Christ. One is before Common Era, other one is Common Era. So, the years in BC were identified in descending order. That is, for example, the year after 500 BC is not 501 BC, it is 499 BC, because in BC years are identified in descending order. So after 499 BC, it comes 498 BC, then 400 BC, 200 BC, 100 BC, 50 BC, 5 BC, 4 BC, 3 BC, 2 BC, 1 BC. Then after 1 BC, it comes to 1 AD. Then 10 AD, 100 AD, 500 AD, and finally the time which we are in, that is 2020 AD. So, time in history is calculated, is identified using two important things, that is BC and AD. Now, let's move on to the next topic, sources of history. What is meant by sources? Sources are informations that we get from any external medium. For example, If I ask you, what is the source of milk? You may answer, cow. We get milk from cow. Likewise, sources in history are collected through some mediums, and we are going to see what are those sources which gives informations about history. In history, there are two major sources. First one is archaeological sources, and the next one is literary sources. So first we are going to see what is archaeological source. Archaeological sources means materials that were taken from under the ground. They are called archaeological sources. There are four types of archaeological sources. One is artifacts, coins, inscriptions, and finally monuments. Now, what is artifacts? Artifacts are the handmade materials. For example, pottery is an handmade material. Toys, ornaments like bangles, earrings, necklaces, then handmade tools. These are the artifacts. Then the next one, coins. Coins issued by kings, rulers, and higher authorities. Then inscriptions. What are inscriptions? Inscriptions are any written materials on hard surfaces like on walls or on rocks. For example, rock edicts, temple wall inscriptions, and metal pillars. Rock edicts. What are rock edicts? Any important orders or commands given by kings were copied on rocks. They are called rock edicts. And inscriptions graved on the walls of the temple are called temple wall inscriptions. And any inscriptions carved on the metals, they are called metal pillars. Then the fourth type of archaeological sources are monuments. What are monuments? Any structure erected in memory of something or somebody, we call them monument. For example, in Chennai, near Marina Beach, we have a famous Anna Square, isn't it? It is a monument. You know why? Because it was erected in remembrance of our former Chief Minister Annadurai. So, monuments are erected buildings that were builded in remembrance of something or somebody. For example, forts, temples, and stupas are the monuments. Now let's move on to the next part of sources of history, that is literary sources. Literary sources are divided into two groups. One is secular literature and the other one is religious literature. So what is secular literature? Any written common records, general records that were copied and written are called secular literature. For example, epics and poems. What are epics? Epics are very long stories. Poems are songs written in poem format. What accounts by foreign travelers. So foreigners, when they visited India, they wrote informations about the events happened in our country. So they were the accounts by foreign travelers. Then works by Indian author. For example, Thiruvalluvar is our Indian author. His works are Thirukural. So it is another source of history. And finally, folk songs and ballads. These are the songs sung in the villages, and ballads are the dramas. So these are the evidences of secular literature. Now we move on to the religious literature. Religious literature are related to worship, about God. Any written record that gives informations about God. So examples are epics like Ramayana and Mahabharata. These two books are religious books. Then devotional literature like Devaram and Tiruvasagam. Devotional means songs. So song books written about God. These books are called religious literature books. Now let's move on to the next topic, prehistoric period. So what is prehistoric period? In the ancient past, man did not invent writing. So man lived in caves and he used stone tools to hunt animals for food. This is the prehistoric period. So what is prehistoric period? The time period in between the use of first stone tools and up to the time when is invented is called prehistoric period. The time period in between from the usage of first stone tools and up to the time when writing was invented is called prehistoric period. And the time when writing is invented are called historic period. And the time period between prehistory and historic period is called proto-history. Now let's move on to the sources of prehistoric period. So when man lived in caves, he wanted to record the events that happened in his everyday life. So he started to make paintings on the walls of the caves and on the rocks. So these ancient rock paintings are one of the sources of prehistoric period. And the next source is there are many archaeological sites in India. For example, in our South India in Tamil Nadu, there are two important places that gives informations about the prehistoric period. One is Athiramapakkam, which is near Chennai. In Athiramapakkam, we have found the stone tools used by the prehistoric man. And in Adichanallur, urns were found. So, what are urns? In ancient times, when people die, they were placed inside a pot and the pot was buried under the ground. They are called urns. So, in Adichanallur, urns of the prehistoric people were found. So these are some of the archaeological sources of prehistoric period. Now let's move on to the final section of our lesson, which is life of Emperor Ashoka. Ashoka is one of the most important kings of ancient India. He is a Mauryan king and he conquered whole of India. And during the Kalinga war, even though he won the war, he saw many soldiers facing painful death. So from that time, he hated war and he wanted to make peace. And finally, he left the kingdom and he became a monk. So, Emperor Ashoka, he is the king who spreaded Buddhism all over India, not only in India and also some parts of Asia. And he is the first king who gave up war after winning the battle. And he is also the first king to build hospitals for animals. And finally, he is the first king who laid roads. He also built the famous Sanchi Stupa. Stupa is a temple of Buddhist. Sanchi is a place where he built that stupa. And there are many inscriptions made about King Ashoka in this Sanchi stupa. And the next important thing is Ashoka pillar at Sarnath. This Ashoka pillar is erected by Ashoka at Sarnath, a place near Varanasi in Uttar Pradesh. This pillar is with 4 lines facing each direction, and under the image we can see the chakra with 24 spokes. So this chakra is found in our national flag. So the chakra which is in our national flag is taken from the pillar which was erected by Ashoka at Sarnath. So that ends our lesson for today, and a quick review about this lesson. We studied 5 important things in our lesson. The first one is what history is all about and timeline in history, then sources of history, prehistoric period, and finally we studied about life of Emperor Ashoka. Go through this lesson carefully, and now I will be giving you spelling words. Study those 10 spelling words, and in next class you have to be thorough with those 10 spelling words. First one is chronology. Second one is excavation, archaeology, inscription, monument, literature, embrace, environment, artifacts, and finally monastery. These are the 10 spelling words you must study and with spellings. Okay children, I believe you all have enjoyed our class. I'll meet you in the next class. Bye.